Hello and welcome to the Walk Off, everybody. Very excited for today's episode as we have a special guest joining us. I'm Scott Belford. Before we get into the introductions, just a quick reminder to hit that like button and subscribe if you already haven't. Also, for all of you Toronto Blue Jays fans in the GTA, we have a big show coming up, Baseball Town live at Left Field Brewing. We have an incredible panel, and it's August 7th on the Thursday, so we're going to have a chance to talk the trade deadline and all that good stuff. Keegan Matheson with MLB.com is going to be there. We've got Ben Schulman, play-by-play announcer for the Toronto Blue Jays on the radio, and then as if that's not enough, from 590 The Fan, we've got Jesse Rubinoff. Tickets $20 if you use the code baseball. You can get those tickets. The link is going to be in the comments section and the description. And on that, let's dive in here. So pleased to have returning to the show, starting pitcher for the Toronto Blue Jays organization, currently suiting up for the AAA Buffalo Bison, Adam Macko. Welcome back to the walk-off, bud.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks for having me back.
Man, I'm so excited to chat some baseball with you here to start with. Congrats on your last start. Best one of the year. You're healthy, you're feeling good. Well done, buddy. 5 innings and one hit. Not bad.
Yeah, I appreciate it. It's about time for that, for something to come around. I'm super excited that things are on the come up and the things that we've been doing are starting to pay off.
I know we crossed paths a few weeks ago in Buffalo, and you mentioned that you're feeling 100% right now, which is so great, man, because and we don't need to dive too much into it, but injuries have kind of been without a doubt your biggest hurdle throughout your minor league career. You are 100% right now, correct?
Yeah, definitely. Feeling the best that I have in a long time. The rehab stuff that I've done is past me, and we can just look forward to like getting better, getting all these things right, and it feels good. Like you said, I've had a bunch of injuries in the past, and I think part of that is when I was super young, I started throwing hard out of nowhere. It took my arm a little bit to get used to that, and then got some knee stuff going on that just was felt super random, but not, we're back and all the meniscus is gone, so there's nothing to be torn anymore, so we're good.
Oh, and I can imagine too that even once you're feeling 100%, kind of getting your rhythm back to pitching every 5 days and feeling confident and strong on the mound takes a little bit too, eh?
Yeah, 100%. Like I mean, I feel the first outing was good. There was definitely things to for me to do better there, still for me to that I was aware of, like, okay, these things need to get cleaned up. And so just working at it one by one, kind of how it goes, and things turn around eventually. You just got to keep on the road of getting better every day, and yeah.
I can imagine that like the biggest hurdle is kind of the mental side of that, eh? Like when they start to pile up like they have and your arm finally feels good and then you're dealing with a knee problem or like it just feels like your body's not cooperating with what you're trying to get done here. Um, how do you deal with that? I know that it's not an easy answer here, and I'm curious too, like what the Blue Jays organization does to kind of make that uh, mental struggle a little easier, and what it's like being in Dunedin while you're rehabbing.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, the group of guys that's in rehab right now, they make it definitely a lot easier than rehab usually is, and the staff that's there, like the Blue Jays have incredible staff on the training side and on the rehab pitching side and kind of everywhere. But it was a blast. Like guys, obviously nobody wants to be there, so guys try to make it more fun and kind of do some fun things, make some cool T-shirts, and just have that team camaraderie feel when it's hard to have that, when everybody's kind of feeling like they want to be somewhere else. You got to find a spot to get to where you can enjoy the days as much as you can, and they've done a great job with that, from the staff to the players. And it mentally, I mean, it's always draining to get that, to be put on the IL and have to, fight your way back to just to be able to compete after waiting the whole off season to get out there. But that's something that I guess comes with the job, and you just hope that you get through it quickly and properly, and that's the last time that you're gonna hear about the IL. But it was definitely really hard, but the staff that we have down there and the players, it was as best that it possibly could be.
That's so cool that they put you all together, you know? Like there is something to be said for having a road to plow with a bunch of other guys, right? Like it seems like rehabbing has become maybe a little bit less lonely than let's say it was 5, 10 years ago. I know that when everyone made such a big deal out of this facility in Dunedin, the rehab side they never even brought up, but that's truly one of the biggest bright spots of that facility, right?
Yeah, no, I mean the facility there is amazing. So you have everything that you need, which is great. And I think maybe part of it maybe why in the past it's been more lonely. It's kind of become a little bit normalized, like people throwing harder, people doing a lot more stuff. People are a lot better than they have been in the past in baseball, and that comes with certain things. And when you have more people in there, it might be a little bit more enjoyable than if it's just like one or two guys sitting there for a couple of months and grinding it out on their own.
I know you mentioned that you hit a point in your baseball career where you just started throwing harder, and maybe you didn't know exactly what your body was doing. Do you feel like you know your body the best you ever have right now?
Yeah, by far, 100%. I mean, I've gone through a lot of aches and pains, a lot of injuries, and not only that, but I'm always trying to learn about my body. I'm always trying to learn like what's the best way to recover, what is like the next thing in my routine that might be lacking based on how my body's feeling day to day or throughout the season. And I think the season that I've had in Vancouver where I went through a full season healthy and I was like, okay, this is what a full season feels like. This is what my body felt like at the end of it. And I felt great, but there's also things I'm like, okay, like some things to address, like as there always is. And it was just it was super helpful to know that. It's like, okay, we've gone through that. This is what it takes to do that. And now we're just fine tuning each thing to make my body feel as good as possible throughout the season. And yeah, there's always going to be hiccups, but the things that I can control and the things that I know about my body and how I take care of my business is the best that it's been.
Did you have guys like lend advice on thing that worked for them that maybe worked for you too, or was this more just trial and error and just figuring it out?
Yeah, there's definitely like guys talk about stuff all the time. Like I'll try to help guys out, like if they're feeling something or if they want like mechanical help or whatever. Like we're all here to help each other out. So there's definitely parts of that. I don't know if I have a specific thing right now, but I'm just so invested in that stuff. Like I'm very curious about how things work and how the body works and what the right dosage of certain things are. And I have coaches that help me with that a lot. I mean, players, like when you go through it and you have that experience of like, hey, this is what's worked for me, it's great. You can try it, but it's also so individual for people. Like some people can just roll out there and not do anything. They just crack their back on a roller, get out and throw 96 and they're fine the whole season. And some people need an hour prep. So, you know, it's figuring out like taking stuff from other guys and then applying it and being critical about is this actually for me or is this just one off some guy being a freak just cracking his back and throwing hard.
Oh, I remember in school being needing to like study for like an hour or 2 hours or 3 hours really hard to just kind of get that 75, 80%. And I had buddies who would just like read it right before the test and then be fine. It sounds kind of like that where you're just like, oh, come on. Why am I working
Yeah,
so hard?
I know, same idea. You just get jealous. You're like, oh my God, I hate this guy. He's just making it seem so easy. But no, it's all good. I mean, I'm happy
Of
for them
course.
if that's what they need.
I mean, injury is such a part of the sport. I can imagine when you got back to Buffalo or when anyone returns from injury, it's probably a bit of a celebration in the clubhouse, eh? It's like, all right, you did it, you're back.
Yeah, no, it's great. I mean, everybody's excited for you, and I'm the player coming back is super excited.
Yeah.
And even when you leave the rehab, like obviously everybody's really happy for you, and you kind of have like a couple guys go out and you know get some food and play some Mario Kart or something like that,
Yeah.
have a little thing. But yeah, I mean, it was great. It's awesome to see how excited people are for each other in this organization and in the organization that I've been in the past. But um, I don't think that's always the case. So I feel very lucky that that is the case with us.
Not only is there like a real camaraderie that is formed in that Buffalo clubhouse, and I've kind of seen it over the last couple years. It's pretty cool how everyone does have their back. But this big league team, I got to ask you about it because this Blue Jays team they're the best in Major League Baseball right now. Does that good mojo kind of permeate through the system? Like, are you feeling the excitement in Buffalo and in AAA? Like, how does the Major League team's success affect you?
Yeah, I mean we're watching like all the games that we can. We're super pumped for the guys that we have like, played with throughout the
Yeah.
season that have been called up. The guys that are the veterans that are up there, like Scherzer just won 11 innings or 11 punchies.
Yeah.
So that was awesome to watch. We had a rain delay, so we're just in front of the TV watching that whole thing, which was awesome. But yeah, I mean, you try your best to make that kind of permeate through. And the Buffalo Bisons have been hot recently, I guess. So the
Yes,
hotter
they
than they've been
have.
in the past. So maybe it is a little bit.
Now, and I don't even know if this is a negative thing. This is more just like something that you need to deal with within the game. And that's the trade deadlines coming up. And obviously, with the Blue Jays being so good right now, they're probably going to be buyers. And when it comes to augmenting the big league team, prospects tend to be the ones shifted around in those type of trades. Does this get talked at all about in Buffalo? Like, is there a nervousness around this time of year, or is it a little bit more you're kind of working on your day to day and compartmentalizing?
Yeah, I think at this point, guys have kind of been through that a couple times already, where you kind of become okay with the fact that you can't play GM. You have no control over things that happen tomorrow or today. Um, Guys get moved and things happen so unexpectedly that nobody would have ever like no GMs that are in our clubhouse that would have ever predicted that. So we're aware that like honestly like this is the situation that we're in, and like anybody could go at any time to like for the Jays to make some pieces to try to win a World Series, and that totally makes sense. But we're not honestly, it's not talked about as much as I thought that it would be, which I'm kind of happy about. Like it's just
Yeah.
like okay, we're aware this is happening. Things will start happening here soon, and like the closer it gets, the more we're like they're gonna happen. But like it's not nobody's going to nobody's going to be playing GM, honestly, I don't think. And we're just like, all right, well, things happen, but like we got to play regardless. Things we still got to get those ground balls in, those bullpens in. So we just focus on our stuff for the most part. I mean, I think I've heard it being talked about maybe four times over the last
Right.
2 weeks, where it's just like, oh yeah, the trade deadline's happening. Okay, and then we're just moving on, playing darts or something like that in the clubhouse.
Yeah.
This past clubhouse was so cool. We had darts, shuffleboard in there, and during the rain delays, that's when
That's
it hit
amazing. I was
different.
actually going to ask you about rain delays. So that's you're not really a cards clubhouse, more of like a darts type of thing.
No, we definitely play cards.
Yeah.
Usually, that's the only thing we have available to us. Like, that's nothing in the clubhouse, and we just bring our cards and we play casino.
Yeah.
But this past clubhouse, it was like a games room, like an arcade. We had a shuffleboard. There was
Oh
like
yeah.
this dice game. There was a yeah dartboard. What else they
You
have?
guys get competitive? Like, does it get competitive with
Oh
that
yeah. Oh my
stuff?
goodness. We're during the rain delay. I love darts, so we're me and Reina Nunez are playing darts, and we're playing, and I lose. I'm like, damn it, like again. And then we get in, and then we're just going back and forth. We play like 12 games of darts, and we're just sitting in front of the dartboard for like 2 hours. And we're just going back and forth. Like none of us want to stop playing. And then
Yeah.
shuffleboard's always taken too. Like everybody loves the shuffleboard. So yeah, it was awesome. It was fun while we're waiting and having something to do like that. It couldn't have been better.
I love that, man. It is kind of funny how baseball is so much waiting, even on the bigger scale. I know you kind of mentioned, right? Like you don't play GM, you're trying just not to like worry too much about the things you can't control. And that is just like that sums up the sport pretty much, right? It's like, can you just kind of tough yourself through mentally without getting too wound up or worried about things that you have no control over?
Yeah, yeah. I think a lot of guys have been either disappointed or burned or whatever, or something great happened out of nowhere, but it was just never something that you could have predicted. Like even my trade when I got traded to the Blue Jays, I never would have thought that it would happen.
Right.
But it turned out to be a great thing, and I'm super excited for where I'm at. But those things are just they're so unpredictable, so unstable that you just kind of learn to kind of stay in the present and keep moving, keep doing your stuff. That's all we ever can do at the end of the day.
Yeah. Out of curiosity, I know it's been some time since you were in the Mariners system, but like, are there noticeable differences between the way that the organizations kind of run their affiliate clubs?
I think I got lucky because I was part of, from what I've heard, like I'm a part of two of the better organizations that guys want to be a part of. So I feel like between those two, like they're both very good in terms of how they run their stuff, like player development, available technology, whether it's like on the performance side or the rehab side. The facility, obviously, with the Blue Jays is definitely the nicest one that I've ever seen. And so like the stuff that goes in there kind of goes along with that. Like they have some cool gadgets
Yeah.
that I haven't seen when I was on the Mariners side, but that was also a while ago. I don't know if that's changed, but I think huh, I don't know if I don't know if I'm gonna go into too many details. It's good. It's tiniest stuff,
Yeah.
but it's feeling I feel very lucky that this is where I've been in those two organizations because they're definitely very close in terms of how how they run their stuff and their philosophies and stuff like that.
I know you're back in the Bisons rotation now, and good on you for doing that. I'm glad you're back, and I know the Blue Jays fans in general are back. Glad you're back and healthy. You're one of the depth pieces within this Blue Jays organization, and fingers crossed you get your debut sometime this season. For those Jays fans who maybe don't know the ins and outs of Adam Macko outside of just you're a lefty starter, what is your arsenal? How do you go about attacking hitters when you're on the mound? And what's your favorite pitcher throwing right now?
Yeah, so I have a four-seam fastball, a curveball, kind of a slider, cutter, hybrid, and changeup. And I've tried to add a two seam, and that has not gone the way that I thought it would. So I think we're scrapping that. But my favorite pitch that I'm throwing right now is probably my changeup. It's the one where in my past two outings, I feel like the outing before this past week was also very close to being where I wanted it to be. And I think part of the reason was I threw my changeup more. And I think the difference that I've kind of started to notice has made impact is throwing my changeup more. It kind of helps me get the hitters off the slider or the cutter, and same thing off the fastball. So if I mix the changeups in, then that makes the slider a lot more effective, and the fastball at the top of the zone plays a lot better. So that's my favorite pitch to throw because I've been battling with that pitch for a long time, and I feel like it's starting to come around finally. And so it just feels great when I throw it. I'm like, I know this where this is going. I know what the result I'm gonna get, and it just like it's the best feeling when you've been battling it for years and you're like, okay, we're at this point we're where we need to be with it. So
It's
that's
so satisfying and validating, eh? When you're working on something and it kind of comes together and you're like, holy crap, like this is exactly what I was looking for it to do.
yeah, it's the holy grail, man. You don't need, like every day you try to work on something and it's just not going the way you want, and then it's all it was honestly my bullpens were great with it. My catch plays were great with it. It was just something in the game. Like if I threw one or two bad ones, we just kind of shied away from it because there's difference between throwing one or two bad ones and being like, okay, that still felt like I kind of have a good idea of what's going on versus even throwing maybe a couple for a strike and you're like, man, that was I had no idea where that was going. So you that mental block that I've had, I guess, in games. It was just I've been wanting to throw it, and then I've shied away from it. And I was like, you know what? Like I sound like a broken record. I'm doing it this game. So I started throwing it, committed to it, and that commitment is what kind of took me over the hump. We're kind of giving up the results from it. It's like I don't care if I throw it for a ball every single one or none of them. I'm gonna keep throwing them, and then it was just boom, boom, and it got better. And then that kind of led on to my next outing. I threw the changeup like I don't even know, probably like 40% of the time from like going up from like 8%. So
Yeah, once you get it, you're like, all right, now we're going to this well.
yeah, yeah,
I know I relate, man. It's funny because like sort of the same thing, not on the physical side, but just like when I have a joke that is working on open mics and stuff like that, and then I put it in the set and it just doesn't hit the same, and you're just like, what am I doing wrong? How? And when it finally clicks, it's just like such a yes.
yeah. That's awesome.
I know that the Bisons clubhouse is close, and I know you're talking about darts with Rainier, and you know you get along with everybody. Are there a few guys you spend more time with? Like if you're going out for beers and wings, is there who's your boys? Who you going out with?
Honestly, you know what? I haven't been out for beers a single time so far.
Yeah,
So we haven't not I would say I haven't been doing that, but like in the clubhouse, um it's kind of like recently I've been playing a lot of cards, and the guys that are on the cards is like Kloffenstein, Amir
yeah,
Garrett, and Devereaux Harrison. So we're like
nice.
we got a little 2-on-2 going right now, like seeing who can collect more money. Actually, sorry, we're not gambling.
Yeah,
This is just for collect
you're
some
keeping
donuts.
score
We're
though.
doing
I
it for
know you guys
donuts.
are.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's such a great team in terms of like being a kind of a close knit group where like there's not many like groups of people that only we will hang out in whatever. Like when the bullpen guys this past game, the bullpen guys didn't have a bullpen, so they were in the dugout with us. We're all just hanging out like hitters, pitchers. That's I've seen differences between them before in my past, from the pitchers hang out together, the hitters hang out together. But it's just it's so cool. Like everybody hangs out with everybody. Everybody's cool. We're cracking jokes, like no matter who it is. So, um, I play. We play cards. Those are like that's our like playing group right there. And yeah, I mean, I'll go out for a coffee with anybody
With
before we get to
anybody,
the
eh?
field. Yeah, yeah,
No, and you see it even on the big league club when the Buffalo Boys get called up. You know, you saw. I know he's with the White Sox now, but Will Robertson making his debut about a month ago, right? And everyone was celebrating it and so excited for him. You saw Joey Loperfido get called up, and everyone's excited and knows him, and you know, like it is kind of cool that there's that. I guess it comes from you're all working towards the same goal, right? So there's like nobody knows the battle more than each other.
yeah, yeah, 100%. So I mean, we all like if somebody's doing good, we're all pulling for him. If somebody's struggling, we're all pulling for him as well. Like getting them on the right track. And I felt that throughout my couple of outings that I've struggled through. Is like everybody's very supportive, very helpful, and to my surprise a little bit because I've heard that like the higher you go, the more it becomes an individual game and stuff like that. And it's easy to slip into that, but I think our team has done a great job. I think we have great veteran players who have been around who kind of make sure that they keep that feeling of like being a team and pulling for each other. So kudos to them.
I know that there's been talk of a slight philosophical shift within the Blue Jays organization in 2025. A lot of credit's been given to David Popkins, the new hitting coach, and just kind of a new hitting philosophy. A lot of credit has been given to the new pitching coaches and the development we've seen this year. I'm curious if this has been noticeable to you, like when you get into the clubhouse in AAA or even rehabbing in Dunedin, did you notice a slight shift in that, or is it maybe more gradual than, let's say, analysts and fans think it is?
Um, the one change that I have noticed is with the buildup in our rehab. It's a little bit. I think what they're trying to go with is like get back to throwing a little bit sooner and take a little bit like longer in that throwing phase. It's like getting your reps in, making sure that your arm is good, really good before taking that next step. And I think I mean, for me as a competitor, it might have been a little bit frustrating when I was like, I'm feeling great, like let me get out there. But
Get me
like
on the mound.
I know, yeah. And but I mean, my arm feels great. I feel awesome with where I'm at. Like my velo's going up, and I think that's a huge part in doing what I did in rehab is like taking that time and making sure like we're going 2 innings 2 times, we're going 3 innings a couple of times, we're going 4 innings a couple of times. Like it's not just like okay, we're moving on to the next like check mark. It's like we're really making sure that things are good. And that's kind of been my fault, like my personal philosophy of just like I like to continue throwing. I like to get the volume in at a lower intensity and making sure that like I can move my arm for a certain period of time before I either up the intensity or I've always been a volume over intensity type of person. I think that's what helps my arm feel the best. So it fell right in with what I like to do as well. So that's the one change that I have noticed personally. I'm sure there are more behind the scenes
Mhm.
that are going on that than I am aware of, but that's the one.
How long did it take you to figure out that chasing velocity maybe not for you and more of a, like you said, building up and doing it long term type of thing?
Yeah, I mean I've when I
Not that
started
you're
throwing,
not chasing velocity. I know everyone wants to hit as much as they
right.
can, right? Yeah.
Yeah, but actually the funny part about that is I believe that not trying to throw hard is what will make you throw hard because it's a difference if you're trying to go from you're topping out at 90 and you want to get to 92, like maybe a little extra grunt or so like might get you to 92, but not reliably and not accurately. And so like for me, it's like you learn to sequence your body, and I kind of like started learning that in 2020. I was watching a lot of Jacob deGrom, and he's kind of talking about his velo increase has been correlated with him trying to throw slow, like less intentful. And I was like, this is super interesting. So I started messing around with that, and I started throwing really hard. I gained like I think it was like 6 miles an hour, 5 miles an hour, or something like that.
Wow.
And it was just learning how to actually throw hard by trying to be as loose as possible, as relaxed as possible, so that all the pieces of the chain um, sequence together the best. So you don't have a kink in that chain that like doesn't transfer energy super well, and the energy is leaked. Um, so I kind of forgot about what what your initial question was, but
No, 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 you're nailing it. I was more asking like what kind of triggered that light bulb going off. That's
yeah, yeah, yeah. So Jacob deGrom first started to like kind of trigger that movement of like, hey, maybe I don't need to grunt on every pitch and get that going. So yeah, even throughout my rehab, it started off like I was throwing fuel, and then because I was super fresh, everything was feeling like brand new. And then as kind of your innings get on, like your arm needs some time to like build up and get used to that workload, which is like that. Like there's just anywhere in spring training or if it's off season or if it's coming back from, there's going to be a little bit of this. Like your body does that on its own to like get some peaks and valleys in there. Like you get up, you recover, and then you start getting back up. And I'm on the uptrend right now, and it's just about trusting that process. And it's hard to do. Like when you're not throwing as hard as you want to, or as hard as you have, it's like damn, like I really want to, I just got to put 200% into this throw.
Yeah.
But that's when things go even lower for me. So just learning to be patient in the throw, learning to be athletic and smooth and relaxed throughout the throw is like the best thing that you can do. And I've heard that from a bunch of other guys as well. They're like, yeah, I've been trying to throw hard this whole time, and then my arm was tired in like the fourth or fifth inning, and I was just like, oh, let me just get this fastball. It'll get me over 0-0. And it was like the hardest bullet of their day.
Right.
And it's just like because you let everything relax, sequence up, and it's like a little flick at the end that just takes off, and that feels you get that right, and it feels amazing.
That is so interesting, man. It's funny how trusting the process is like such a big part of this, eh?
Yeah, yeah, 100%.
Uh,
It's hard to do, but you got to just let it flow out and trust that it's going to be there.
what's your favorite part about Salem Field? Is there something about that old stadium that just does it for you?
I really, when I first got there, even last year on my like the one start that I had there, I got there on a Monday, and I went to go play catch with Drew, the pitching coach, and I went out, and it was just me and him at the field, and I went out and I'm looking around, and like the stadium, like Nat Bailey was kind of like that too. Like it feels like everything is like right on top of you, and like everybody's kind of looking down at you on the mound, and I love that feeling. Like it's cool. It gives you a little extra bump of energy and velo, and that it just feels like a classic, true like minor league stadium, but not
Yeah.
in like a grimy type of way of just like this is AAA and this feels really not like this stadium. It's one of my favorite stadiums to play on, not just because it's our home
It
field.
is such a cool old stadium. I love
Yeah,
it too, man. Yeah. Adam, I am so grateful for how generous you are with your time. So appreciate you joining the show and imparting your experiences on us. We're rooting for you. One last question, if you got a few seconds more here.
absolutely.
All right, let's do it. Just curious if you'll take us through your routine on your start days. What does that look like? How much sleep are you trying to get? When are you like at the ballpark? What's your routine?
Yeah, I like to get to the ballpark earlier than most starters. I don't like just sitting in my room like thinking about my start or trying to distract myself. Like I don't want it to be any different of a day. So I always try to I try to get between 9 and 10 hours. I mean, if you set your alarm from when you go to bed to when you wake up for like 10 hours, you realistically sleep about 8 or 9. So I try to set that for 10. That's the luxury of being in season is you get to do that.
Yeah.
Not often does that happen, but um, so I get to the park. We have usually three buses that head to the park, like an early bus, middle bus, and a late bus. I always either take the early or the middle bus and like get to the park. I used to be put my headphones on and like not leave me alone by any means, but just like kind of being in my own little bubble. But I found just like keeping it loose and like enjoying the day and like being in a good mood and like a in uh yeah, it's just like a good positive, just like yeah, playing cards, doing stuff, walking around, like watching the guys play catch.
So you're not the Max Scherzer out there being like, "Don't talk to me, don't look at me."
Yeah, no, definitely not. And I've heard so when I was younger, I've heard of Justin Verlander being like that, and I wanted to be like Justin Verlander, so I would do that as well. And it's
Didn't
just
we all?
yeah, and it's just so forced. So I'm just like like I like to. Because it tires me out mentally, to be honest. Like just being locked in for that long. Like it's like, okay, well, my game started, but I feel like I've been locked in for hours before that
Right.
already. So it's like, like, why am I even doing that? So I just learned to just be able to get locked in a short amount of time, so I don't waste that brain power and energy earlier. So that's what it feels like for me. So I just get to the park, I hang out, and then about 2 hours before the start, I start kind of moving around. I start doing my stuff. I make what I really like doing right now is I make a little yerba mate tea, like gourd. I have the gourd, I have the leaves, and like the little special straw that comes with it. So I make that. That's kind of like a
Yeah.
little like routine process for me. So I do that. I sip on that, and I just get into the training room. Or the training room, the weight room, wherever we have room, and I start my stretches a little bit. That's about an hour 45. I start that. Um, and then we have a pitchers meeting. I go to the pitchers meeting, which is usually about an hour and a half before. And after that, I start really moving around my lower body, getting some dynamic stuff in my upper body, loosened up. And then I put my cleats on, put everything that I need. I take all my gadgets, all 10 of my gadgets that I have, and I walk out there. And then right now, I've been really liking throwing the javelin. So I throw the javelin. I throw the softball to help me get on top of the ball. I get out. I used to long toss like out to like 250 feet. And I realized just like kind of similar to what we've been talking about, I realized that just taking it easy and not trying to like go as far as I can and grunt on it on every throw and but kind of not gassing myself out, but like I'm creating bad patterns. Like, why am I trying to do that out there when I'm trying to be loose on the mound? So I only get out to like 150, 200 max.
Yeah.
And I just like let it easily flow out of my arm, probably at like 50, 60% intensity. Then I get off the mound and I throw what feels like maybe 70% intensity. And then in my bullpen,
That's such a great way of putting it, where you're like, I'm trying to be effortless during the games. Why am I giving it 110% when I'm warming up for it?
yeah, no, 100%. And like as as a reliever, like they don't ever get to do that. They don't ever get to stretch it out to go 250 feet, and they chalk. So like,
Yeah.
there's also something to be said for, even though I like volume, for wasting throws. So I try to get the minimum amount that I need, which is usually about 15 minutes. It's probably about 20 minutes with the javelin, softball, and the catch play. Then I give myself 10 minutes on the mound in the bullpen. And then usually about 5 to 10 minutes before the game start, I'm done with my bullpen. I go inside, I sit for a little bit, cool off, and then just get out there and like, I don't know, it it's not, I wouldn't I wouldn't recommend this necessarily, of actually going 70% of your intensity velo wise. Um, Going from that to 100% in game, but my 70%, when I'm throwing 70%, I know in my bullpen that's about 92. And then when I get out there, even 100% can sometimes be 92. So like
Right.
then I get out and I'm like, okay, I was out around 70, 80% intensity. I'll throw maybe one with like the juices flowing on the mound, throw one at like 85, 90%. And then I pitch at like 90%, like and like 85, 90%. And that's when it comes out the best. That's when I have control and all that stuff. And
Yeah.
um yeah, that's been like my hardest bullets when I feel like when I first started throwing really hard and I was 95, 97 out of nowhere, I felt like I was 85. Like I went in to ask and I was like, oh, I was probably throwing like 85, 88, huh? And they're like, oh no, you were 5 to 7. I was like, oh, like, and that's when it clicked. And I was like, okay, I don't need to throw hard to try to throw hard, you know? But yeah, so that's my routine. And I've had that for like 2 years now. Um, yeah.
Love that, man. Thank you so much for sharing, Adam. Really appreciate you taking the time to join us here. We're rooting for you, my man. And fingers crossed next time we chat, it's because you're wearing a Toronto Blue Jays jersey.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Agreed. All
Yeah.
right, my man. Take care and we'll talk soon.
Yes, sir. Appreciate